sankhara. Somebody has asked a question to explain the difference between karma and sankhara, which I take up later on. I will not forget this is in my agenda, so I will definitely speak on that, and that is good incentive for you to attend this short Dhamma talk. I want to continue what from where I stopped yesterday. That is, I said the sankharas, untranslatable to any other language, has a deceptive nature. It conceals the truth. I gave an example of movie actors. They put on various dress at various times. When they come to the stage, you hardly can recognize them. So what they put on their body in various ways, clothing and makeup and all this, are sankharas. And they conceal that person's real body, real appearance. Some people can even imitate somebody's sound to speak in an artificial way, imitating somebody, and so on. These are all sankharas. I give you some example from the text. That also is very true. Buddha compared the body, this F-O-R-M, to F-O-A-M. My pronunciation may be both the same. That is why I spell the word out. F-O-R-M looks like F-O-A-M. That is the way Buddha compared the body compared to form. Form, when you look from distance, appear to be something very solid, especially when it's big and dust and so on will fall on it and it becomes very thick and you cannot see individual bubbles, but they are all together, gives us an impression that it is a solid object. When all you have to do is to puncture one of the holes, one of the bubbles, then it breaks. Puncture another one, that also breaks. Just go close and even blow, it breaks. Inside there is nothing. Similarly, this body superficially appears to us to be something very solid. When we of course, these days there are various ways of analyzing and separating and dissecting and so on. When they do that, inside there is nothing. All collections put together, collection of food and drinks and medicine, mineral, and so on and so forth, we put together, and none of them has anything solid. And they all are constantly changing little activities. They all are activities, which we don't see. And the sankharas are like that. Sankharas camouflage or deceive, giving us a deceptive appearance. Why is that? Because sankhara comes from ignorance. Ignorance is the number one of the dependent origination. From ignorance comes sankhara, or sankharas are created in the framework, in the field, in the domain of ignorance. Ignorance is at the background, and therefore it is very easy for sankhara to join ignorance. And when we are ignorant, we don't see this reality. That is the very nature of sankhara, that we cannot see them clearly because of ignorance is there. Ignorance is the thing that, prompt the sankhara to be deceptive. And then feeling, Buddha compared to bubbles. We all have seen when you cook in the kitchen, you can see when you put something and when water is boiling, bubbles are coming and breaking, coming and breaking, coming and breaking. And bubbles are formed when it rains. We can see the water falling into another lake or somewhere. Bubbles appear and disappear, bubbles appear and disappear. Feelings are exactly like that. They appear and disappear, appear and disappear. But this appearance and disappearance is not very clear to us because of the ignorance, because of the darkness of ignorance. All we have to do is to wait for a few minutes to see the bubble breaking up. When you apply soap on your body, you can see bubbles. And they all appear to, they give a sort of appearance, but they are inside nothing, empty, even air. So Buddha compared the feeling to that. Then perception is compared to mirage. As I mentioned earlier in my talk, and you can see in many texts also, mirage is also appeared to be something existing like water, but when you go there, it is not there. Mirage also is called mriga trishnika in Sanskrit, mriga trishnika. Mriga is deer. Trishnika means thirsty. So this appearance makes the deer thirsty. So deer goes after this appearance and run very fast to get some drink. But the closer deer goes, the mirage is farther away. So she would turn back and then find mirage behind and think it was water. So he would go back. So the deer would go back and forth, looking for this water, but it is not there. It is just an appearance. That is like perception. Why is that perception is there? Because of the ignorance. We don't see the reality. Now, fourth is our volitional formations, which are called sankharas. And you see, all these are in the category of sankhara, but there is a special category called sankhara. Everything that comes into existence through causes and conditions are sankharas and sankhatas, conditioned things. The body is conditioned things, feelings are conditioned things, perception is conditioned, and the volitional formations are conditioned. And therefore, they also have a great force, and also we don't see it very clearly. And not seeing it very clearly, we try to hold on to this sankhara. And that is our subject. I will talk more about it in more detail. Then sankhara also called sankhata sankhara. Sankhata sankhara means conditioned conditioners. Sankhara is conditioner. Sankhata is conditioned. Sankhata sankhara means conditioned conditioner. Because one conditioned can become a conditioner next moment to create more sankharas. And therefore, that is called sankhara. And then last is consciousness. Consciousness also is compared to magic, which really in reality does not exist. Somebody can put various things together, and somebody can move hand movements, eye movements, article movements here and there. Then we, spectators, are deceived. Only when you go to a stage and behind the screen, you hide yourself and then watch very carefully, mindfully, then you will see there is no real magic. It is all deceptive ways of doing things. And we can be deceived very easily because we have ignorance. We go with ignorance in our mind to enjoy this. Like go to movie with lot of ignorance in our mind and we enjoy it. In reality, it is just so many things put together these days, so many things put together and make us believe that this is some real story. So this is the nature of sankhara. This is nature of deceptive nature of sankhara. This deception comes from ignorance. So we said in the dependent origination, number one is ignorance and sankhara comes next to ignorance. So I will continue this after this morning Dhamma practice, meditation practice. So please look at your screen and you will see Metta recital. Okay? Read that.
Just one moment.
Okay. Let us begin. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere, neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hate or resentment, whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desires for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Dear friends, this is a very wonderful moment for us to practice metta, especially this COVID-19 has affected every country, every nation. Now, many people are dead, many people are affected. We notice even in the United States, more than 1 million people are already affected. More than 58,000 are dead. That is a mind-boggling number, unimaginable. In spite of all these efforts, all these energies, all these skills, all these resources, this is spreading. And we want to wish very harder than before, very earnestly. Uh, we all are very sincere, very honest. We have to make even a greater effort to make this wish and wish every moment, every day, whether we are in company or alone, every moment we are awake, we have to think of this to reduce, remove, and wipe out this virus to bring people's peace, happiness, solace, and comfort. This is our earnest wish. With this wish as background, let us begin to focus our mind on our breathing to cleanse our mind even more than before. Pay total mindful attention without using any words, concepts, without thinking of the past or future, without thinking your own weaknesses. Just pay mindful attention, clear attention, without greed, hatred, and delusion, to your breath. As you breathe in and out, you notice the lungs are filling with fresh air and emptying when we breathe out. It means inhale, exhale, noticing the brief pause in between. When you inhale and exhale, you notice the rising and falling of your abdomen, rising and falling your chest area, and or rising and falling or touching the breath at the rims of your nostrils. Wherever you feel comfortable, there pay attention and stay with that without verbalizing, conceptualizing. And then you notice the feeling of breath is changing, perception of breath is changing, attention to the breath is changing, consciousness is changing. Friends, none of them in reality stays the same even one moment. Every moment they change, but we are not so aware of them until we pay total, clear, pure attention. As they change and disappear, the body becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. The breath becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. And the mind becomes calm, relaxed, and peaceful. Then our hindrances, such as greed, resentment or anger, restlessness and worry, sleepiness and drowsiness, and doubt, temporarily leave the mind. When they leave the mind, along with this practice, mind becomes very, very clear. And then we notice the mind does not want to keep any of them. Mind let them go. They slip away from the mind. And that is our thought or feeling or intention or called nekkhamma vitakka, letting the thought of letting go. Then our resentment will fade away. Then when the resentment or anger fades away, our metta, the thought that we started this practice, becomes stronger, clear in the absence of greed and resentment. And then we have a compassion, and when metta and generous feeling arises, compassion also arises. Along with that, we gain a degree of joy that leads to happiness, that makes the mind even more calm, relaxed and tranquil. Passaddhi. When that appears, the mind gains concentration. This is the way how it happens. And if we stay with this awareness, this understanding, this mindfulness, we will gain a very significant results. With this, I stop talking and let us practice. Dukkha pattājani dukkha bhaya pattājani bhaya soka pattājani soka hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear-struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all beings be. Once again, friends, this is our very earnest wish. We began this meditation with this wish, practicing metta for all living beings, especially they need our metta more than ever, because this is the very critical time in the world. So many people are suffering in so many ways, primarily due to this virus. And there are many very sincere, honest individuals, groups, organizations, countries, leaders trying to help them in their personal capacities, official capacities, to do whatever they can to mitigate, eliminate, remove this virus. And therefore, we continue our wish, our intention for their wishing them for their well-being and happiness and liberate from sankhāra, liberate from this disease. Now let me continue my talk on sankhāra. I'm still on the same topic. The body is called kaya in the place at kaya sankhāra, as inhaling and exhaling. But body also is called rupa. Rupa is that which we can see. But rupa has another meaning. That is, Buddha has defined the word rupa. Rupa defines as that which afflict and subject to affliction is called rupa. In Pali, rupatiti rupam. That which is subject to affliction is called rupa. What are these afflictions? The body or kaya is afflicted by cold, heat, wind, snakes, gadflies, hunger, thirst, disease. All this afflict our body, and that is subject to these afflictions. We have, as we mentioned, when all our sicknesses are taken care of, the last that remains is our hunger, thirst, and so on. This afflict our body. And therefore, the rupa is called the entity that is subject to affliction. Kaya, the word kaya is used for the same thing because it is a collection of various things. Rupa kaya, Vedana kaya, Sanya kaya, Saṅkhāra kaya, Vijñāna kaya, and so on. Collection of body, a collection of things is called Rupa kaya. Collection of feelings, various type of feelings called Vedana kaya. And collection of all kind of perception called Sanya kaya. Collection of all kind of mental activities is called sankhara kaya, and collection of all types of consciousness that is called vijnana kaya. Now they appear to us to be one single thing. Body appears to us as one single object. Feeling and so on, each and every one of these that I mentioned appear to us as one solid something. But inner mechanism we don't see. Inner mechanism is hidden in the darkness of ignorance, and we don't see them very clearly. So, therefore, the body in the sense of called that which is subject to afflictions, and the other is a collection of various things. Body is a collection of material things, and the feeling also is collected of various collection of various feelings. So, and all this in one word called sankhara. As I mentioned at the beginnings, the word sankhara is not translatable into any language. Therefore, when there is a very famous sayings, anicca vata sankhara, or sabbe sankhara anicca. These are the Pali words. Anicca vata sankhara. All the conditions conditioned are impermanent. But that is the very thing we don't see. All sankharas, all conditioned things are impermanent, but we don't see that. And sometimes some people excuse me, some people even don't want to see. Why is that? Because of ignorance. Because of ignorance we cannot see, and because of ignorance we don't want to see. So ignorance plays such a heavy part, strong part in this sankharas. So sabbe sankhara anicca or why Dhamma sankhara, anicca sankhara. In all these places word sankhara is used to mean everything: body, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness, and whatever else is there came into existence through causes and conditions are called sankhara, and they all are impermanent. And that is the very thing neither we like to know, nor we like to know it. Either we don't see it or we don't want to see it. That is because of ignorance. And yet they all are impermanent, and therefore they are unsatisfactory. They are unsatisfactory, and Buddha said unsatisfactory means dukkha, suffering. In Sutta Nipata, there is a very beautiful section. Entire Sutta Nipata has wonderful teaching. In one series of talks that Buddha has delivered is called Dvayatānupassana. Two kinds of anupassana, two kinds of seeing exactly as it is. In that discourse, in that series of talks, Buddha mentioned yang kincha dukkhang sambhoti sabbang sankhara paccaya. Whatever suffering arises, that suffering arises from sankhara. Sankhara, conditioning. And this conditioners, all suffering arises from conditioners. As we mentioned and earlier, suffering has in the sankhara, and then sankhara itself is a suffering, is called sankhara dukkha. We have various kinds of sufferings, not to get what one wants, not to not to live with unfriendly, not to live with friendly or relatives and so forth. We don't get them. And whatever, in short, we don't get, that causes suffering. And whatever we want to get is a sankhara. Say, for instance, we want to associate with a good person. That person himself or herself is sankhara. And we don't want to associate with some other person. They also are sankharas. So there is no escape from sankhara. Everywhere we find sankharas. So sabbe sankhara means all conditioners, whether they are bodily conditioners, mental conditioners, or verbal conditioners, all are sankharas. And all of them have suffering as a root of all our what you call sankharas. I mentioned at the very beginning, somebody had asked a question to explain the difference between the sankhara and kamma. I touched on it earlier, but that is a very big subject. In a couple of minutes, I cannot explain it. But in Chetana Sutta, in Samyutta Nikaya, Buddha very specifically mentioned, so long as we have body, and depending on thinking of body, either thinking or imagining, or due to underlying tendencies, sankharas are committed. And these sankharas can be wholesome or unwholesome, and they are called kammas. And these kammas are called collection. We collect various mental states, and they all are called sankharas or kammas. So I want to spend more time on this topic to show the difference between kamma and sankhara. This moment I want to finish what I have started, that is explain into some details. I don't think all will understand sankhara exactly as it is, because it is very deep subject. Even translation is very difficult. I tried various things like conditioners, conditioning, and so on. They themselves may not be very clear. Only when you think about it, mindfully practicing meditation, you will come to know that. So, sankharas are the suffering. Therefore, sabbe sankhara, anicca, all sankharas are impermanent. All sankharas mean body, feeling, perception, thought, and consciousness. These are the sankharas we have. Among them, one category is called sankhara. Overall, all these that came into existence through causes and conditions are called sankharas. And they are therefore all dukkha, suffering. And that is the very thing that the Buddha mentioned. I repeat it in many times. No matter how long I repeat, I don't mind repeating, because only when we repeat the same thing again and again, that thing will stay in our mind. That is a very simple psychology. And therefore we have to repeat. I repeated all sankharas are impermanent, and therefore all sankharas cause dukkha. That is why Buddha said, whatever suffering arises, that arises from sankharas. If there are no sankharas, no suffering. And that is what we are trying to do gradually and slowly through the practice of meditation, following the path that leads to the end of suffering, end of sankharas, to make the mind visankhara gatan kittam, the mind free from sankhara. When the mind is free from sankhara, we end dukkha, suffering. That's what we want to do. So friends, this may be enough for today's short talk, and I will continue this every day, giving you bit by bit, explaining various aspects of sankhara and sankhata, and you will see more. Uh, you may have better understanding when we end that section sooner, later. Once again, friends, I want to wish all those who are suffering, all those who are related to those suffering beings, their friends, relatives, children, husbands, wives, brothers, sisters, parents, and so on. All of them, when one person suffers, everyone around that person suffers. When one person dies, everybody feels very sad, depressed, disappointed, and so on. All these are happening now because of this virus. So we all want to send our heart and mind to these people and wishing them peace, happiness, solace and comfort, and liberate all of them from suffering. And all those who are trying very hard in many ways uh, also need our metta, our loving friendliness, especially those who are trying to help from a very high positions like leaders of countries, leaders of organizations, and so on. They also make a great effort to relieve this suffering, and to make their decision, we also want to wish them to be very wise, and so that they will make very wise decisions and intelligent decisions, skillful decisions to curb and reduce and wipe out this virus, especially those also who are very hard trying to discover through their research a vaccine, and they all need our metta and our wish to be successful very soon. And all the doctors and nurses and hospitals and also so forth, everyone is trying to help these people also need our metta, especially those who are suffering need our metta. Let us wish all of them to be peaceful and happy, and liberate from this sickness and attain final liberation from suffering. With this, I conclude this morning's session. Thank you for coming and listening and participating in this. And I wish we all join together every day. Every day we build up this strength, this power, this ability to share our metta and wish them to be free.